Hello and welcome. Today I have the first case in the knockoff round for this year's World Championships in the morning session. This one is called Powerlifting by Hayden Wiseman. I wonder where he got the inspiration for this case. Let me read the instructions. The Powerlifting World Championship has just taken place. The judges have sent you data from the competition and would like you to organize it to answer various questions about the competition. In powerlifting, athletes complete 3 exercises in order: squat, bench press, and deadlift. Each athlete gets 3 attempts at each lift for a total of 9 lifts. The maximum lift on each exercise is added together for each athlete to give their total result. If a lift is denoted with a negative symbol, it means the weight was attempted but the lift was failed. If an entry is blank, it means the competitor decided not to attempt that lift at all. If no successful squat, bench press, or deadlift is completed by a competitor, then their total in that exercise is 0. However, they may continue to lift in the competition and achieve medals for individual lifts and other exercises. Now, if I take a look at this tab here, so this sheet has all of the lift data for all of these lifters, which, by the way, this case notes at the bottom that it comes from Oprah Powerlifting Project, so it's available out there on the internet. So let's go ahead and give this case a shot. It was a difficult case. The morning cases were pretty difficult, but I've had a few practice reps with this, and now I feel comfortable to show you how to solve it. Let's give it a go. All right, level 1. What was the first squat attempted by the following competitors? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this sheet into a table here, and I'm going to call this table lift. That's going to make it easier to reference later. And the first squat is in this column here that says squat 1. Just going to align that to the left so that I can see. There we go, squat 1. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to XLOOKUP this name in lift name and return lift squat 1. Now remember, the question is asking for the first attempt. If I leave this as negative, then that not might come out right. So I'm going to put the absolute value in there. So that will give me the first attempt of 300. There we go. Let's take a look at level 2. Weight classes are given in the table for both males and females. That's this table here. Let's go ahead and turn that into a table. To be in a weight class, your body weight must be up to and including that weight, but not over. What weight class are the following athletes in? So we have an athlete, and their weight's going to be on this table. So what I'm going to do is next to their body weight, I'm going to insert one for class. And what I'm going to do, just to make this easier to read, I'm going to lift these up to the top. And then if I then fix the columns, there it goes. So now that's going to be easier to read. So let's get the class here. So there's 2 different levels of classes, one for men, one for women. So let's do let class. If that is M, then we'll do class M. That's M from the class table, otherwise F from the class table. There we go. Then we can XLOOKUP that weight from the class table, return that same class table, but return the exact match or next larger item. That should then give me the class for all of these weightlifters. And now if I do another XLOOKUP here, name lift class, then we should get the class that the case needs. All right, level 3. What was the following competitor's total result? Remember, if no squat or bench press or deadlift is successfully completed, then the total for that exercise is 0. All right, so we have 3 squats here. These are the 3 scores. Some of them might be negative. So we're going to get a squat total, bench press total, deadlift total. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the maximum of 0 or these 3 squats. And the reason why I'm adding 0 is just in case any of these squats are negative, or they're all negative, then I'll just come out with a total score of 0. We'll do the same thing for bench press, 1, 2, 3, and do the same thing for deadlift, 1, 2, 3. And if I remember right, this asks for the total result, so we need to add these all together. Total score, and that's going to be a score of the sum, or the squat, bench press, and deadlift. There we go. All right, now we can do just the same thing. Another XLOOKUP here. That should get us the answer. XLOOKUP there from lift name, return lift total score. All right. And that should do it. There we go. Okay, now we get into a medium level. So now we're looking at when a barbell is loaded, it always includes a bar at 20 kilograms and 2 collars to hold the plates at 2.5 kilograms each. The bar is loaded symmetrically with the heaviest plates loaded first. The bar is always loaded with the least number of plates possible. How many plates are loaded in the following competitors' lifts? All right, so I think because we have 9 lifts for all the competitors, I'm not going to add this into the table now. Instead, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to put weights. So let's see how much they're weighting. So we're going to index, because it's a two-way lookup, index that lift table, matching the name against lift name, and then matching the lift name itself with lift headers. So that should get us the weight that we are attempting. Okay, it's negative, so we got to do absolute value. Right, it's the attempt. There we go. All right, so what I want to do, let's get the bar and collars. So that's going to be 25, and everybody's going to have to put that on once. Then I'm going to get the colors. So let's do these colors here, and below them let's do these weights here. Now, because these weights have to always be put on in pairs, I'm actually going to double these weights. So you're going to see here, red's going to be 50, blue's going to be 40, and you're going to see how that works here in a moment. So let's figure out the red first. So figure out the red, I need to find out how much weight I still need to load on to this bar. So it's going to be the total weight minus however weight for the bars and collars. Now I'm going to put this here in this kind of a range reference because that's going to let me fill it across over to the right, times the totals so far. So that's in the cell just next to that. Now I'm being very careful about how I lock these because I don't want to mess this up. I think that's the proper locking. So this I'm not going to change at all. This is only going to change the column, not the row. Yes, that's going to stick on the first column but change the row, and that's going to move freely. Right. So that should give me, right, so that's how much weight is still needed. Now I need to find out how much red we can put on. So I'm going to round that down, or take this number and divide by the pair of reds. And round that total division by 0. Okay, oops, I need to lock this as well. So that weight always stays there. Now let's go ahead and fill that across. All right, so you see I've got 2, whoops, 2, why did that change to 2? That should not change. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, these are pairs, so that's actually 10. So what I could do is I could take the sum of all of these times 2. Now let me go ahead and fill this data in for all of these lifters, and I can fill that formula in for all of these questions. Or not. Or not. What did I do? I must have messed up the... Oh, okay, so I didn't lock this one in, so that should stay on row 173. All right, now let's see if I go ahead and paste that down. Does that fix all the questions? Yes, it does. Okay. Got to make sure you lock properly. Level 5. What place were the following competitors in their weight class? If there are multiple competitors with the same total score, they are ranked according to their body weights. Okay, so we have total score for all the competitors. We need to sort them by the class first and then the weight. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a sort with the bar. So over here I've got my sort function, custom sort. So we're going to sort by class first and then by total score. The total score is going to be largest to smallest. There we go. And so that's going to group all the classes together, like this women's 47 kilogram class right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count everything in, or I'm going to count how many times this class comes up per row. So E2 to E2, and how many times E2 shows up. Now it looks silly because I typed that 3 times, but watch what happens when I paste it down. So you see what happens here is I get 1 to 11 there, so that's all the 11 women in that class. And then we go here all to 20 to all the 20 women in that class. So what that's doing is that's actually counting, but then restarting every time the class restarts. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my table here, and I'm going to put overall rank there. All right, so that then should allow me to, oh wait, I always forget this one last part. It's not just that we need to do. It's not just a total score, because remember it said there may be ties and they're ranked according to their body weight. So I'm going to bring up my sort dialog here again. I'm going to add a level. That's going to be down here at the bottom for body weight smallest to largest. There we go. Now let's do this function again. E2 to E2, counting E2. Let's copy that and paste that into the table. Great. So now let's do an XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP this in lifter's name, return lifts. I think it's overall rank. Yes. Should give me a 3. Yes, it does. Let's see if that fits for everybody else. Excellent. Good. All right. Level 6. Gold, silver, and bronze medals are awarded to competitors for the heaviest squat, bench press, deadlift, and total within their given weight class. I.e., there are 12 medals available in each weight class. How many medals in total did the following countries obtain? Okay, now for the overall, we know gold is 1, silver is 2, bronze is 3. We just need to do the same thing for the individual competitions. So let's do bench press rank, deadlift rank, and I forgot, the order probably doesn't matter, squat rank. There we go. So let's do the count formula again. There we go. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change my sorts in this dialog here. So instead of total score, now I want to sort by squat total there. Then I could put these numbers in. Okay. Do another change here for bench press total. It's going to you see my table is rearranging when I do that. These numbers, though, they're not rearranging because remember, the first thing we sorted by was the class. So those numbers won't change because there's going to be the same number of people within the class. Deadlift total. All right. And so the question was, how many medals did the following countries obtain? Okay, so let's do medals. And let's count each of these 4 if they're less than or equal to 3. So it's going to tell you how many medals each person got. And then we could do sum ifs, lift medals, where lift country is that country listed there. So the Netherlands. And there we get all the medals. All right. Now on to level 7. Very hard. This one is a doozy. A competition schedule is given. Each day women will squat first, followed by men. This continues on to bench press and deadlift. The running order within a weight class is always on an ascending bar basis, i.e. the first squat attempts are in order from lowest opening squat to the heaviest. The order is reset for the second squat. This continues on for each round of each exercise. If there is a tie, then the lifters go alphabetically by name. If all lifts are assigned a number representing in the order in which they occur, then who is lifting for the given number? This one took me a while to figure out how to solve this one. But basically what I'm going to do, my strategy that I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take this table and I'm going to semi-flatten it out in a way. Because you see it's got each lifter and then it's got 9 different lifts that they've done. But we need to count all the lifts that are done and find out who did lift, for example, number 2,730. So I'm going to create a new table. I'm going to call this order. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to first put my name in here. Now, because each lifter is doing up to 9 lifts, let's say. I mean, I know the table is going to be empty and sometimes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to VStack the name of all the lifters 9 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's 9. Right. So that gives me all the names for all the lifters. Now, the first thing that we need to sort by, the overall thing, is the day. So you see we have the day there, right? We have a female class and we have the male class. So let's go back to our table, and with this class here, let's turn this into a table. Let's call this day. We'll go day number, female, male. Right. Okay. And let's add in day in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up their class and I'm going to find out which day it is. So we're going to do kind of the same process. So we're going to see a class, if it's male or female. If this equals female, then we're going to do day F, otherwise day M. Okay. And then we're going to XLOOKUP the class, from the class return the day number. Okay. Ooh, I get day 1, 2. Okay, that's what I want, but I'm going to take out the word day. So I'm going to turn this into sequence of 8. Oh. 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 Okay. Did not like to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. We did it the hard way. Okay. So now if I look at my table there, all right, excellent. Now if I go back over to my order list, I'm going to say XLOOKUP the names, return the days. Okay. Great. Then the next thing we got to figure out is what event they're doing. Are they doing squat? Are they doing bench press? Or are they doing deadlift? So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to call squat my event number 1, bench press my event number 2, deadlift my event number 3. And since I copied all the names 9 times, that would be 1 3 times, 1 for each squat, 2 3 times, 1 for each bench press, 3 3 times, 1 for each deadlift. So event sequence, let's do rows lift starting with 1 and we're 0 times. So we're going to put this in a V stack, and that's 1 2 3 2 2 3 and then 3 2 3. There we go. So that should be the same length as my names, which it is. Excellent. All right. And then the next thing we got to figure out is, okay, so females go before males. So let's say gender order. So XLOOKUP this, return lift sex. So if that is female 1 2, we can do that for the whole table there. Okay, so that tells me when the women go, when the men go. And then we are finally going to add let's see, we're going to add appearance, and that is how many times this person's going to appear. That's going to be the one hard one because that's not going to be a full like dynamic array. It doesn't need to be dynamic. I wish it was an array, but that's okay. And then finally, we are going to add the lift weight. So this is going to be V stacking lift squat 1. Then we're going to do 2 and 3. 1 2 3 2 3. And then we're going to do bench press 1. So we're going to do 1 2 3. And then we are going to do what was after bench? Deadlift. Deadlift 1 2 and 3. 2 3. All right. All right, now you see here I'm getting negatives, and remember these should actually be attempt weight. So we don't want negatives, so let's make these positive. All right, there we go. And I believe that should be everything I need to sort this table properly. So let's go ahead and let's bring my headers over. And then first thing I want to do is I want to take all the non-attempts out. So let's see, let's table filter. Actually, no, let's not do that first. So this is where I struggled a lot, right? Do I filter first or do I sort first? I think I'm going to try sort first. So let's do sort by this whole table. And we're going to sort by day first in order there. Then we're going to sort by event. Why does that only go into 3? Should that only go to 3? I have a feeling that should go to 6. No, that's right. All right, we're going to do the event next, and then gender order next. Whoops. Gender order next, and then appearance next, and then the attempted weight. Now this is going to be smallest to largest, right? And then finally we're going to sort by the name, if in case there's any ties. All right, so let's see how all this worked out. So I'm going to do sequence of rows of this new table. There we go. And now, here is the test. Let's take the index of this list with that number. So that number is at G302. Do I get Julie Muscolino? I do not. I was worried about that. So this telling me I got the order sorted wrong somewhere. So I need to take a look. Where is the order sorted wrong? So here we should have all the women's. Yep, that's there. Oh, I didn't filter. I remember I talked about filtering. Yeah, I didn't do that. Right. So let's filter this. Filter table where. Right, so I need to check the weight, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not going to be 0 or empty. All right, so that's going to change my table a little bit. We're not going to see here, but if I go back, oh, we get Julia Muscolino. All right, so that was a problem. I didn't take out the locked cells. I didn't take out the non-attempts, so there's a lot of zeros, but non-attempts, of course, don't get counted. Now I got all this in. Now they all green light, and let's go ahead and take a look at the bonuses. First bonus, how many competitors are England? Well, we could just count that in the table. So we're going to count the countries, and let's see how many times England comes up. 13 times. How many competitors haven't made a successful attempt in at least one of the disciplines? All right, so let me move this over here so I don't go back and forth a lot. So that means how many of those do either of these enter 0? So let's do failed. Let's just do failed. And then count if any of these totals are 0. All right, so we see here this one has 1 0. Yes, she does. All right, so now how many competitors haven't made a successful attempt in at least one? So we're going to count if that column where it is greater than 0. So 1, 2, or 3, that's all okay. Bonus C, how many plates in total were loaded during the competition? We're going to use the same weights as we saw before in level 4. So let's see what we did for level 4. Okay, so we got all the weights and we got all the... All right, so I'm going to go back to this order here because we have all the weights here again. And so what I'm going to do is, I believe if I take... Will that work? If I just take that and I paste it up there. Okay, that won't work. Right. So I need to change. I just need to change this, and that might do it. So that was these weights up here. Okay, nope. Okay. No, that did not work at all. Okay, I need to redo a lot of this. So this is the starting weight there. Okay, and then minus some. So this starts at O. 173, 173 times. Is that 174? No, that's 02. Oh, whoa. This should be 1. And this should be 2. Alright, so staying in column O, that's free. And divided by P1. Okay, so this is taking a little bit while, but basically what I did was I filled the formula over. I didn't see any errors, so I filled the formula down. Why am I getting the same? Okay, they changed. Okay, so then we're going to do by row. lambda x times 2. So that's going to double. No, it didn't. Oh, I know why it didn't. All right, fine. We'll do this the old-fashioned way. Sum of these numbers times 2. Remember, the 25 was the bar and I forget, class was the name? I don't remember. All right, so if we want to look at how many weights were loaded, we are going to sum this entire column there. All right, a gold medal is worth 3 points, a silver is worth 2, and a bronze is worth 1. How many points does this top scoring country receive? Medals include those for squat, bench press, deadlift, and total as per level 6 rules. All right, so we're going to count points now, and we're going to count points based on these 4 here. So let's do points. So it's going to be for these 4, if they are 1, then that should be 3 points. If these are 2, it should be 2 points. And if these are 3, then it should be 1 point. And you don't like something. What don't you like? You don't like that number 2 there. Why don't you? Oh, yeah, because those aren't spaces. That should say count if. Boom, boom. Okay. Still don't like it. Did that do it? That did it. Okay, so this person, they got 1, 2, 2. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Yes, okay. So now we are going to do a group by, and let's do it on here because there might be a lot of countries. So group by, let's do the countries, add up the points, and sort highest points first. USA's got the most points. The question was how many points? So we're going to put 94 in there. Final question. How many competitors would have placed better, e.g. second place better as third, if they achieved the same total but in the next weight class above? Ignore the heaviest female and male classes, which don't have any other class above them. All right, so what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to figure out what is the, let's say, next class for each of the weightlifters. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to keep that, but I'm going to XLOOKUP this class plus 1 in class, return class, or the next higher one. So that should, I believe, bump everyone up to the next class. Yes, it has. And then let's see what it did for the, what did it do for the pluses? Okay, it returns errors. So I'm going to say, if there's an error, return nothing. Okay, so let's see what that did. And that left them blank. Okay, good. And then let's do next class rank. Now this one we don't have to worry about sorting by weights because they're not in the wrong weight class. There's only one person with that weight in the respective weight class. So we're going to count ifs. So we're going to count how many people got a total score above our score, and then how many people whose weight class is in the next weight class, and then plus 1. So if there's nobody that got a score above, that means we are rank 1. All right. And then let's do improved. Wait, what did this do for the people? Oh, it gave them ones. Okay, so if the next class is blank, leave it blank. Otherwise, do all of that fancy stuff. All right, and let's see. Did they improve? So they improved if the next class rank is lower than their overall current rank there. I'm still going to make one final change. If the next weight class is blank, then return false. Otherwise, then do that calculation. So we should hopefully get some trues in there. Okay, I see some trues. Excellent. So now we're going to count how many times this column is true. And there we have it. A really fun data-led case by Hayden. Thank you so much for that. By the way, if you stayed this long to the end of the video, if you weren't aware, there is a little secret behind Hayden's photo. If I just move it aside to a little bit, he has left some Easter eggs for you to solve. Now, I'm going to leave the fun for that to you. If you want to, you can download this case, give it a try on your own. If you've already competed, take a look in your case and see if you can solve that puzzle. But that's going to be enough for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If sure, please do give me a like. Please do subscribe to this channel. I will be uploading more as the year goes on, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one.
It's the Excel world.